It's a real blessing from God. I really want to thank God when I get out this microphone. Thank God for this church and for the Reverend and for y'all coming, so people can hear the truth. And it really ain't nothing to do for these kids in this neighborhood. And the best thing we have right now is the church and Hyde Park Gate.
Mid-South Viewpoint, a Christian news and information feature of Bott Radio Network 640 AM, discussing the news, views, issues, and concerns that affect our community. Join us now for today's edition of Mid-South Viewpoint.
It's time for Mid-South Viewpoint. Hi, I'm Byron Tyler. It's a pleasure to be here on this program. The last time we got together, we were on location at the Revelation Christian Center under the invitation of Pastor Andre Guy Reed. And we're back. I couldn't get enough of the time we had with the dear folks there at the Revelation Center. I got to meet a few of them. Matter of fact, I kind of got on site, the church property, as Pastor Andre, you were wrapping up a feeding of the multitudes. I mean, you had
our summer feeding program. We feed at least 100 children per day, and we're looking to raise that number up.
Now, tell me about some of the homes that these children would come from, and why you think it's so important to provide these meals.
Well, a lot of the kids come from homes, and not only for a lack of food, but for a lack of parental guidance, a lack of activities or things to do. We get them at the church as more, not so much as just feeding them, but as a chance to minister to them, to give the boys mentorship on how to grow up to be good young men, to give the girls mentorship on how to grow up to be good young ladies, to show them wholesome things to do. Miss Roslyn, she just got on one of the kids today about he was using the word fool and the N-word, and no, baby, come here. No, there's a better way of life than that. So those little bitty things like that through the summer that we pass on, it's going to help these children years later in their life.
Well, and when it comes to helping, you really need help here. I mean, the ministry is not supported by federal tax dollars or national grants. I mean, it's really the people of the community that through tithes and offerings that sustain the work that you guys do. And really, that's the church itself. I mean, that's just the people of God coming together and giving out of their poverty sometimes.
Yeah, and not only that, but most of the people that I get at Revelation are not what I call tithe ready. That means that they come in, they're not in a mindset to give, first of all, and some of them are so economically down the ladder that they don't think that they can afford to give. So we have a lot of people that know of the ministry that actually send donations that are not in the ministry, but they partner with the ministry where they send donations to help us help people, man. And it has really, really gone a long way. In these 7 years that we've been in this particular building, I have seen quite a change in this neighborhood, and more importantly, I've seen a change in people's lives. Where they don't depend on handouts, they depend on God.
Well, in our last program, Andre, you shared a little about your testimony and how before coming to Christ, you viewed, the white man as you were sitting in your prison cell as a Muslim, the white...
the blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil.
There you go. Say that again now?
The blonde-haired, blue-eyed devil.
Okay.
Yep, that was him.
That's how you had categorized the white people. And yet God, through His love and grace in your own heart, is showed you that hey, it's not about skin color, is it?
Color doesn't even matter. It's about the content of a character of a person. My spiritual mother, she's a white woman. Some of my closest brothers are white men. I could care less what people look like. I care what people live like. And once I found that love and peace of Christ, because Islam, that's why another reason I thank God for putting me in this neighborhood, because a lot of the black men, when they go to prison, they're indoctrinated into Islam because they're looking for an excuse of why they committed crime. And I tell people, if you leave people alone and leave people's stuff alone, the police will leave you alone. I learned that. And so they get indoctrinated into Islam, and they try to tell them, well, Allah and Jehovah are the same God. No, they're not. I don't see anywhere where Muhammad did a miracle anywhere. Jesus, he gave me love for all men, no matter what they look like, even no matter what they live like. My worst enemy, I have an obligation as a Christian to love him. I might not agree with the way he's living, but I have an obligation to love him. So, I have a calling by God that I have to spread this, because this is not my job. This is my life now. I've had 3 or 4 times where the ministry got so hard on me where I quit. I just went home and told my wife I'm not doing it no more. It's the hardest thing in the world to deal with is these church people, and they stiff neck, and I know what Moses went through, and I just quit. And I went in my backyard one night, Byron, about maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and I realized something. don't have anywhere to go. I can never live a normal life anymore because I've been intimate with God. So I can't just go and be an engineer or nuclear scientist. I go to the University of Memphis now for law. I'm just doing it for a hobby. I'm a preacher. And I looked up in the sky, and I looked at God, and I said, God, if you try to leave me, I'll stalk you to the ends of the earth. And I felt God smile at me. He said, that's the way I want you to love me, Andre. Wow. So I don't want life without God. So since I have God, and I have this faith, I need to share it with somebody. And he picked Boxwood Street.
Boxwood Street's where you grew up. This is a neighborhood that... now, do you have siblings? I never talked about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a brother. He's a manager of Kroger, and a sister who's in the corporate at First Tennessee.
Okay, so they're still in the area.
Oh, yeah, they live in Memphis. They live in the suburb. They're not coming back on Boxwood Street.
Well, someone who is on Boxwood Street today with us, again, as we come to you from our location, the broadcast location of the Revelation Christian Center on Boxwood in North Memphis. Dr. Joe Carson is a member of the Life Church, and Dr. Joe, the Life Church has made a commitment, I believe, to this community, this neighborhood, and has been involved for the past 5 years. And I think you have been partnering somewhat with the Revelation Christian Center and Pastor Andre.
We did. We ran across Pastor Andre just, I guess, about a year ago.
About a year ago.
And we were in the neighborhood, and he saw us and kind of waved us down, and we didn't even realize there was a church here on Boxwood. And we've been graciously welcomed in with activities that they are a part of, asked to join them as they minister and serve the people here of the community. And it's just an honor because we really do love this community.
Now, professionally, I understand that you were a dentist or not practicing anymore. I'm not sure.
That's correct. Actually, I've been in the dental field for 25 years, and well, it's a long story, but God was able to arrange some circumstances that freed me to be able to love on the people that a lot of people don't love. And it's just been a beautiful ride, and it's just a great opportunity to serve. I had no idea I would ever work for a church, and our pastors, Pastor John and Leslie Siebling, brought us into their office one day and said, we've been praying that God would raise up a couple, my wife and I, and who love hurting people and want to help them. And
wherever they are. And so we have ministries in different parts of town. We actually kind of began our outreach ministry out of the back of my pickup truck with some day-old Danishes from Panera Bread Company and bottles of water on the streets in Memphis, just handing them to people who are homeless. And we've my world has expanded. I have friends in every part of this city. I have friends that I can walk down any street, including Hunter Street, right, and if they're with me, I don't have to worry. And now, they may not come to church with me, but they're friends of mine, and God has really expanded our lives and our capacity, and it's just an honor to carry His name into the streets of Memphis. There are some needs in this community, would you say?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But it's a beautiful community, and there's some proud families here, several families that have lived here for over 50, 60 years in the same house. And again, it's a privilege to serve them in any way we can. And we really believe in the children of this area. We believe that they're our future, and what we can do to provide for them, whether it's to come alongside a parent who's struggling with finances, who may not have the resources to feed them on a regular basis. And I don't know if you know about, in August of 2010, a Gallup study said that Memphis was the hungriest city in the nation. And in this particular area, 7 out of every 10 children go to bed hungry. And we couldn't, as a body of believers, stand by and do nothing. And so we partnered with several of the elementary schools in the area, and we come alongside the parents, and we just help provide resources for them. So every Friday, at the end of the school day, we hand out a bag of groceries that will provide a child 7 meals and 3 snacks to get them through the weekend, so that their mom doesn't have to worry would they have enough to feed them this weekend. And so it's just been a blessing.
So, Dr. Joe, this is an ongoing week after week ministry.
Week after week. And it's just, again, this is something that we began last fall. And by the end of the school year, we had 4 elementary schools and 1,725 children. We're really looking to expand that even more this year.
Yeah.
And so it's just really a joy to be, and especially in this North Memphis area. It's kind of an area where in Binghamton there's a lot of organizations serving, and in Frazier and even in Raleigh there's a lot of organizations serving, but somehow in the middle there's an area that kind of got left out, and it's one of the poorest and highest unemployment rate, and highest crime rate, and highest infant mortality rates in the city. And yet there are very few resources here. And so we just long to be a resource for the community to help build the families and to make Memphis a better place to be.
What does it mean for you, Pastor, too, to see a church in the suburban area of our city to feel your pain, to see the burden, and to come here and want to partner with you?
My God, I can't tell you how good John Siebling and Dr. Joe Carson and Life Church, we don't have as big a sanctuary of the resources that Life has. And when I met Dr. Joe and he came in, because I have people living in the church, he never once looked down at this ministry. Matter of fact, I think he got more overjoyed than I, and he got happy. Wait, Pastor Guy, can we send some chili over? Can we send some water? Can we send some Gatorade? And they are a breath of fresh air, because it helps, especially. Life has a multicultural congregation, and that's what I need to show in Boxwood. Blacks, white, Hispanics, Asians, Indians, no matter what your ethnicity is, we all worship in the same God. We all worshiping together. And Dr. Joe, he has such an humble spirit. We were talking before the radio broadcast, and he said, Andre, I don't want people to think that we're just the people in Cordova, those suburbanites coming in and say we're coming in, just to feed the little helpless people and stuff. He doesn't look at it like that. He wants to be a part of this community.
And I see, I think that's key there, and you already stressed that. You made that point very clear, Dr. Joe. This isn't a suburban, predominantly white church, which is not the case of Life Church by no means. Coming here and spending, maybe a few weeks in the summer, to do. This is your life ministry. You guys are here, and you make yourself known every day, and that's really what's important. I think it's been said, and I think you guys have heard, people don't really care how much you know
until they know how much you care.
That's right. We've all heard that statement, but is it real? Because it's all about relationships. Yeah. And when you show people you care and you love them, that's how you build that relationship, and it starts making a difference. Wow. Well, I really appreciate that story, Dr. Joe, and just the ongoing work that you guys are doing. Again, partnering with Andre and other, ways that you're trying to make a difference, because it does take, the body of Christ coming together to do this. No matter, again, we're not looking at race. We're looking, there's only one race. Isn't that right, Pastor?
It's a human race.
Human race.
That's right.
One man plant, another man water.
And we're all part of that race.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. All right. Well, as we continue our conversation here with Pastor Guy, we've got some other folks that we want to introduce our listeners to, and we're in the sanctuary where you preach every Sunday morning, and I guess Wednesday night too. Is that right?
I'm doing Bible study tonight.
Oh, we got to get you off the air here so you can get on and prepare your message. Hopefully, you've already got it prepared, though.
I do.
You've already got it prepared.
Thank God.
Well, we were talking just a little bit ago about feeding all of these precious little children. You said 100 children a day?
100 a day, and we're looking up the number. The word has gotten out in the neighborhood, and this nice lady that just came up, Miss Rosalind Seaberry, she's over my women's ministry and my food ministry, and she really, really is a great asset to me in this ministry. As far as making sure everything is organized, making sure everything is by the health book rules, that if these children get out of line, Miss Rosalind going to deal with them.
Hey, Miss Rosalind, welcome to AM 640. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
And how long have you been involved with this ministry here at Revelation Christian Center?
A little over 2 years.
Okay. And what's it mean for you to be with these kids and prepare the meals and actually give them some instruction along the way?
It's my work. I love it.
Is it?
I love it.
Well, talk about it.
I
what
love
is it?
Serving, and I love the little kids. I love serving, period.
Yeah.
I'll go out and serve little kids, old people, whoever needs help. I'm there for
Just
them.
To be there for them.
Just to be there for them.
Is this the neighborhood that you grew up in?
My family grew up in, yes.
Okay, and so I guess you have, felt the pain of those and also the joys of those too. Just the people living life and.
Yeah. You've seen a lot of loss along the way. People that had jobs, the few people that had jobs lost jobs. So you've seen a lot of loss in this neighborhood.
You know, there has been, and I'm trying to think, I know we're pretty close to what used to be the old International Harvester plant, not too far, I guess.
Down in Firestone, we had Firestone and International Harvester and Wonder Bread and
John Morrell.
Packing Company.
Wasn't Gordon's Trucking, wasn't that close by, or there was some other place? I might have that in the wrong.
Gordon was on 7th Street.
Yeah, I think it was down a little further down. But this was a thriving area, though. You're right about that.
Yeah, it really was a very thriving area.
So all that losses brought this neighborhood down a lot.
Yeah. And is this what you do? Just volunteer your time and serve and
as much time as I possibly can.
Do you work outside of the ministry here?
I work. Yeah, I have a job, but I work nights.
Okay.
So during the day, I serve as much as I can for the Lord.
You must be tired right now if you work at nighttime.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
She's not going to tell you, Byron. She works at night from like 10 at night to 7 in the morning. After 7 in the morning, she's at the church at 10 o'clock, setting up these lunches for these kids and stuff. She's still with this church at 1 or 2 o'clock. She might go home and get an hour and a half sleep. She's going to be back here at 6:30 for Bible study. Wow. Then she go, and then not to mention on days when she goes to run people to the doctor. We have a couple of homes where people have mental disabilities and stuff. She was actually visiting those homes maybe 2.5 months before I even got word about it. And I was like, I want to thank you for your missionary that came over. And I was, what missionary that came when, where? And I called Miss Roslyn, well, Pastor God, I didn't think to put that on your shoulder. You can't do everything. So I just thank God for it. I mean, she's a wonderful asset to this community, and she's well respected in this community. The young ladies that come through here, about her carrying a certain standard, they'll listen to her tell them about how to talk and how to dress and how to carry themselves. And we explain to them there's a difference between being a woman and a lady. Revelation, we produce ladies out of here.
Wow. Talk about that process of helping mold young ladies. Can you, Rosalind? How important that is?
Well, it's important for them building. It's important for the young ladies in their growth, in their family growth, and when they grow and have a family of their own.
Right.
But to be able to teach their young ladies.
What are some of the struggles that these young girls specifically have, do you see in the neighborhood?
All kind of struggles, just the peer pressure of the other young ladies that have no intention or haven't been sent the right way to do the right things, when young ladies, they might want to go to church or they may want to do the right things, but if, it's a no-no for their friends, so they won't do it.
So peer pressure really is a struggle for a lot of the youth.
It's a big struggle for most youth.
Yeah. And two, having mentors like yourself that they can see the godly example, in the service and the giving back that you're doing. I know they must appreciate it, Pastor, these kids.
Well, they love it, and they respect her so much, and that's what I love, because even my daughter, she knows if Daddy doesn't see me, let Miss Roslyn catch me, I'm in trouble. It's back to the old days where children, once you're around any adult person, you know that, when I was growing up and you did something wrong, I got 5 or 6 whippings before I got home. Then when I got home, I got the big one once Mom and Daddy found out about it. And it takes a village. And as a church, we've got to realize, I got a 3-step program that I wish people would hear me on. It's called One Church, One Block. It's like Revelation, we're on Boxwood. Okay, we take responsibility for Boxwood. New Bethel's on Stovall, you take Stovall. Many churches we got, each church take a block. The second step is called Start Snitching. Quit letting, my Bible says worship God in spirit and in truth. Snitching is telling the truth. You will not openly sell drugs in my neighborhood. You will not openly institute people in gangs on this street. Then the third step is provide resources. I'm not here to lock them up. I'm here to set them free. So if I tell about what they're doing illegally and they get locked up, once they get out, these are going to be the same people that are coming back to your neighborhood and need a job. The job bank, the food bank, the clothing bank. The church should be a one-stop shop, a 24-hour resource. That's why I got people living in the church, because I want the church to be just like the Methodist Hospital. Anytime you make it here, you can get to some prayer.
Wow, and that's really what it needs to be, a place of refuge, and that's really what the Revelation Christian Center has become. Rosalind, God bless you. Thank you for what you're doing for Christ's kingdom.
God bless you.
Thank you for sharing with AM 640, and we will trust our listeners will be encouraged to pray for you too. And that's a lot of responsibility, a lot of food to prepare, isn't it?
It is.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Well, we've got others we want to introduce our listeners to. And Pastor Andre, tell me who's up next.
This is Coach Shondale Gatewood. This young man, he has been with me about 4 or 5 months now. And when he came in, he was coming from a church next door. He was discouraged. He said they wasn't doing anything but arguing in the church. I said, well, just come in and visit. And he came to visit, and he kept coming back 2 or 3 weeks, and I started noticing that guys that I've been seeing in the neighborhood for 10 or 15 years that have never came to the church started coming to church, and he started coming in and have 10 or 15 little boys following him. And I say, this guy can't have all these children himself. Well, I come to find out that he's the Hyde Park football coach. And all the young people in this neighborhood respect him, and now he's a member of our church, and he's an asset to my ministry and part of my street ministry.
Shondell, welcome to Bott Radio Network, and thank you for allowing us to be here and share with you today. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing fine, sir.
And so you coach football.
Yes, sir.
Among young people. And what age group is that?
6 through 8, 9 through 10, and 11 through 12.
So that is really a critical age. You know, you would think that there's that innocence of childhood, but, you know, kids at that age are impacted by a lot. Some of them don't, you know, they might not know their daddy. Mom might be, dealing drugs, or, you know, it might not be the most stable home, you know. Talk about some of the situations you deal with the kids you help.
Well, we don't have a lot of support. We don't have no sponsors. Our church, the church is the best thing we got. And the reverend behind us now. And it feels good to have somebody behind you to help. And we really needed that help. And the only good thing positive in this neighborhood, because I'm from the streets, I'm from Hyde Park, is churches. It's no baseball team, no basketball team. And we making history right now. This is the first football team in this community, the Hyde Park Gators. So if you want to play football over here, you will have to cross Chelsea and go up to Goose Park. If you want to play basketball, you will have to cross Hollywood to get to Hollywood Community Center. And a lot of kids don't like doing it, and because, you know, the fights and whatever, the neighborhood thing, so it's hard, and we don't got a lot of support from the parents. It's a big problem, too, because most of the women, they trying to take care of more than one child on their own. It ain't no man support around. So that's where we step in, and they love us for supporting them and giving them something to do. And it feel good, but it's God work, because I don't know how I end up doing it, but I'm doing it.
Wow. Well, I guess that is must bless your heart, Pastor, to hear Shondell.
That does bless my heart to see him, and they shared me, because there's a big epidemic in this neighborhood of 3 out of 4 African-American children are born in single-parent households, and there are no fathers in the house, and as good a mothers as they want to be, it takes a man to raise a man, and the Bible says to be a father to the fatherless. I thank God I have one of the few churches where I have as many, if not more, men than I do women in the church, and each one of these men are men that when they first came to me, or they may not have been the best dad or the best husband, but we have such a strong group and a connection to where we push each other to be the best father that we can be and to be the best husband that we can be. And Shondell has pulled in on that, and he's pulling these young kids in, and we're teaching them how to be fine, stand-up young men. It doesn't matter what your past was. We're going to help build your future over here.
Wow. Shondell, thank you for making a stand. Thank you for loving on these young men, to show them, you know, Christ's love and, you know, the discipline, because it takes discipline to be a football player, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
I got some cheerleaders, too.
You got some cheerleaders? Well, you got to have cheerleaders for
6 through 14. Okay. So there's something for the girls to do, because besides the cheerleader, what else they going to do? It ain't nothing else for them to do. Ain't no tennis court, ain't nothing for them to do. But,
wow.
And I want to give all glory to God for guiding me to this church, because they have showed me so much support, even my friends that I have brought from the streets, because it's different out there, and you don't hardly see people smiling and all together, hugs and love. That ain't what go on when you walk out the church.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, yeah, man, for yourself, or either, you know how it go, people, cliques or gangs or whatever. And it's a problem, because the churches, they inside the church, but the reverend, he done took me, we done fed the homeless on Hollywood. He sit down and eat with me and my friends the first Saturday first Sunday, but we do it on a Saturday. We go to Shoney's and eat. Then he done taught me why I come to church if you ain't gonna grow in the church. Told me quit being Batman and be that man. I learned stop the infernal, I ain't dead yet. So it's a real blessing from God. I really want to thank God. And when I get out this microphone, thank God for this church and for the river and for y'all coming.
God bless you.
So people can hear the truth. And it really ain't nothing to do for these kids in this neighborhood. And the best thing we have right now is the church in Hyde Park Gables.
Shondale, God bless you, my dear brother. Thank you for what you're doing for Christ's kingdom. And as we get ready to close up our program, we've got to get somebody else, and I want to Pastor to introduce is Daryl Butler. Daryl, you want to come over? And Shondale, thank you so much.
Bless him as I love him so much.
Oh my, what a great heart there. Well, Daryl, tell us about. Let me give you a handshake here. Welcome to Bot Radio Network, and get you moved a little closer to that microphone. I promise you it won't bite.
Can I introduce him, Byron?
This is
Daryl Butler. He was the drinkingest, cussingest, threateningest person I've ever got to come join this ministry. I remember we used to see him at the little store right here, Hurd in Hollywood, and we were out doing street ministry, me and about maybe 20, 25 other preachers, and he cussed and threatened so bad that the only preacher that was left was me and Pastor Q. And I sit there and I said, now why am I sitting here constantly taking this abuse? And God kept talking to me. I said, because I'm telling you to. And I said, man, when you get through talking, I love you. Blah, 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 blah. When you get through talking, I love you. I said, look, I'll see you soon. God bless you. And I'll let him tell the rest of the story.
Well, you had some animosity for a pastor here?
No, it was just, things I was going through in life. I had got to that point where I was, suicidal, homicidal, and I was just fed up with living. And I gave him my word one day. I said, I'm coming to church. And I came and sat on that front row over there, and I just stayed there. I was looking for a way out, didn't know how to get out. And God put pastor in my life, and ever since then, I've just been, it's amazing. I don't try to look down on no one. I try to love everyone I come across. He taught me that. I had no father figure. My father had passed when I was a young kid, and Pastor's my father. He's my God, and I love him to death, and I gave him my word, in the streets. When you give your word to somebody in the streets, you give them their word. So I took that same and motivated the same way towards being a Christian, and I just give God every day. I wake up, I try to give him the most glory. Who can I help today? How can I be a help to somebody else through him, and I love him, in this neighborhood, Boxwood is where I grew up. I had my mother, she worked it hard, and the streets took over after my grandfather died, and I just been out there, been lost. But now I'm back on track, and I've been here for almost a year now, going on quite a yeah. And I've just been here, just doing what I need to do for Christ.
Well, Daryl, I really wish that sometimes radio is a detriment because you can't see faces. And right now, I see just glowing eyes, wonderful smile, and a genuine, I can just sense the sincerity, and I believe our listeners can hear it through the radio, but just to see your face light up, it's just nothing but a big smile.
He looks like an innocent teddy bear after terrorizing me for half a year. But his other half has been a wonderful, wonderful ride.
Wow, just one more example, my dear brother Andre, of what God is doing through the Revelation Christian Center in reaching this neighborhood, Boxwood, here off of Chelsea in North Memphis. Wow, our time has slipped on this program.
Amen.
And I hope this will be the beginning of many other programs we can do in the future.
I pray.
To come back and check and other ways that we can figure out how we can connect, this community with our audience so people can get to know you, pray for you. And I hope those listening will consider the ministry of the Revelation Christian Center again through your prayers, maybe through some type of support. Maybe you have some food or clothing or items that you would like to say, Pastor Andre, I'd like to partner with you, and I've got not worn out clothes. I've got some new, nicely, gently worn things if you need, or if I can help you with some of the living conditions with those who live in the church, because you do have some families.
Oh, yes, I do. I got 3 families living in there.
Yeah, and there's needs here that you can help with. So the best way to contact you, Pastor Andre, is how?
Either by email at andreguy1, the number 1 at bellsouth.net.
My webpage is andreguy.com. Click on Revelation Christian Center. And my cell phone is 901-315-6018.
Wow, it has been so wonderful to be with you guys. Thank you so much, my dear brother, for what you are doing for Christ's kingdom.
I love you, man.
I love you, my dear brother. God bless you. Friends, that's all the time we have on this edition of Mid-South Viewpoint. Thanks for joining us for Day 2, coming to you from the Revelation Christian Center in North Memphis. I'm Byron Tyler. We'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Mid-South Viewpoint. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can email us. Our address is wcrv@botradionetwork.com. This has been Mid-South Viewpoint, another Christian news and information feature from Bot Radio Network 640 AM.